And joining us over the phone is Ambassador Ayoub Mahmoud Ayoub, the former plenipotentiary commercial minister. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon.
A number of agreements and memorandums of understanding were signed between President Sisi and South Korea. How do you value the economic cooperation between the two countries, especially when it comes to the President Moon Jae-in's visit to Egypt today?
This is a historical visit for the President of South Korea to come to Egypt after 16 years. President Sisi has been to South Korea 2016, and this group of agreements and memorandum of understanding signed today between Egypt and Korea usher a new era in relations, economic and investment relations between the two countries. It comes at a critical point and at the timing very important for both and Egypt, because Korea looks to Egypt as a focal point in the Middle East, because it has a very good connection to Asia, Europe, to Africa, Asia and Europe, while South Korea is on the right flank of the Asia for the Pacific area. The agreement signed in the areas of renewable energy, high-tech, salination or desalination of water, and several green energy and several other areas are very important for development in Egypt, and will be the beginning of heavy or big investment, South Korean investment in Egypt. This is very important for both economies, benefiting from the access of the Egypt to several African countries, because we have bilateral and multilateral preferential trade agreements with Africa, and at the same time we have access also to the European market through the European Union. We have a preferential also trade agreement with them. So Egypt will be a focal point for the investment. Korean investment
basically South Korea
is not only in Egypt.
So basically what you're trying to say, Mr. Ambassador, is that South Korea is going to invest in Egypt based on Egypt being a hub for exports of South Korean products. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes. And what about when it comes to an exchange of expertise? Will this also be part of the plan, not just financial investments within Egypt?
May you see the question again, please?
What about exchanging expertise? Like you were saying, that South Korea is highly efficient when it comes to the tech trade industry. Do you think there will be some sort of exchange of expertise between South Korea and Egypt?
The relations between Korea and Egypt has always been very friendly and cooperative, and Korea has a very good image in Egypt. When they invest in Egypt, they mean that they are investing heavily, because they are not looking only to Egypt, but also to the markets around it. When they see stability in Egypt and see that the moderate Islam which we have and the access to many countries as a peaceful access to these countries, and also to these markets which is very important for the big business delegation which is coming with the President of South Korea. So a lot of progress is being witnessed now, and this will be beginning of new era in relations between Korea and Egypt, which will be reflected on economic development in Egypt, on the standard of living, and also on increasing bilateral trade relations with the trade volume about $2.5 billion. Almost more than $1 billion of exports from Egypt to Korea, and this is expected to double and triple in the very near future, because they are opening also, it is very important for us, opening new market for the Egyptian economy, and also through a new source of tourism to Egypt as far as tourism is concerned.
So, Mr. Ambassador, what are the most important projects that are going to be implemented according to these memorandums of understanding that have been signed?
The most important thing is creating Egypt as a focal point of Korean investment in the Middle East. The President of South Korea has been to United Arab Emirates, and also with Saudi Arabia. When he comes to Egypt, he comes at the focal point and a country which is a one of the economic powers in the area, and they are investing heavily. They will be investing heavily, whether in Suez Canal zone or in the energy sector, on desalination sector, or in energy sector, and several and high tech. Because Korea is very well known for its high tech, and this is a big area for them to technology transfer from Korea to Egypt through the industries will be established in Egypt with Korean capital, and also with Egyptian manpower, and high tech also have a part in it.
Yeah, so the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, during the joint press conference between them, pointed out about the importance of attracting South Korean investments in the Suez Canal economic zone. Why is this important to have some sort of free trade zone between both countries?
Suez Canal is not only Iran a pathway between between Europe and Asia, but is also now an economic zone, free economic zone, and where South Korea will be investing heavily in the area, because it is to the benefit of the Korean industries and Korean know-how and high tech to invest in this area, because a lot of other industries are there already, and so we will be expanding the presence of the high tech investment in this part of Egypt, and also it will be reflected on the other parts of the Egyptian economy, and also access to other markets through our multilateral trade agreements with several African countries, and also with the Arab countries. So they have here the manpower, they have here the know-how, good know-how, and also the energy, relatively cheaper energy, and sources of energy are available at relatively lower cost. And there is another important factor. Egypt is a stable country, a stable economy, and every year we are seeing growth in Egyptian economy, 3.5 or 3.8, and it has not been adversely affected by the COVID, and so they know that it is a big market by itself. It's 110 million consumers, and also they are looking to the African market, which is 1.5 billion consumers. They are investing heavily in Egypt, and this will be reflected not only on the Egyptian economy, but also on the Korean business opportunities in this part of the world.
Okay, Ambassador Ayoub Mahmoud, the former plenipotentiary commercial minister, thank you so much for joining us over the phone. We're going to cut our live coverage short, because at the top of the hour we're going to have the top stories, and then get back to more live coverage on what's going on between both presidents of Egypt and South Korea.